Hello and welcome to Peer-to-Peer Trades. In today's video, I want to take a look at Bitcoin. I want to take a look at Ethereum and then keep on top of what's going on with traditional finance, looking at the S&P, NASDAQ, and DXY. And then we will open it up to the viewers here. We'll open it up to chat. Anybody that has any specific projects you want to take a look at, we can go ahead and do so. But without any further ado, let's take a look at the king of all crypto, and that is Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin is, I think, approaching a bottom. Honestly, I really do. Well, I've been saying we're either at the bottom or close to it for months now, and that hasn't really changed. We can go over to the weekly chart. Downtrend is still intact. So, I just want to start things off by saying that the downtrend is still intact. There's nothing that says that this can't continue further from a technical point of view. As long as we keep printing lower highs and lower lows, the assumption is we're going to continue to keep printing lower highs and lower lows. So from a technical point of view, downtrend is still intact. The trend is your friend. But from a more, I guess, sentiment-based point of view, sentiment is really, really low right now. Crypto's dead. When crypto is dead, that is the best time to buy crypto. All right. Now, not financial advice. It's up to you how you want to trade and invest. But typically speaking, the best time to buy crypto is when everybody doesn't give a fuck about it. Eventually, that will go away. But for now, people still don't get crypto. If they understood cryptocurrency, there wouldn't be 16,000 cryptocurrencies, but they don't understand cryptocurrency. So there's way too much bullshit out there and everybody's lost all their money. So this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. Next level down, if we do kind of break below this, I'm thinking that we have a very strong support here at around this $13,000 level. This is the area of the breakout for the bull market. We're so close to a retest of that breakout level. I just think that it would make sense. So how we get there, I have no idea. We could either drop there quickly or we could just continue this kind of falling wedge pattern and get something that flattens out on top of it and then take off from there. I don't know. Or we could get something a little bit more violent that maybe capitulates out of here, breaks below, and then, dances on top of it as a recovery or something along those lines. Or with the bottoms in and we take off. The important thing to know, you guys really need to put it into perspective here. From a technical point of view, there's no trades, right? So until we have an uptrend, until we have a favorable trading environment to go long, I'm not really focusing on how do I make an entry? Where do I put my stop loss? Because the assumption is lower levels. But from a point of view of where I think we are in the price cycle, we're pretty close. And if you're buying Bitcoin between, $15,000 and $5,000, do you really think that it's going to matter at any point when Bitcoin's over 100K? No, it's not. You got to put things into fucking perspective here. The people that waste a lot of energy trying to nail the absolute bottom are the ones that usually fuck things up and wait too long to make moves. Sometimes you need to move quickly, and sometimes you just need to have faith. If you're buying Bitcoin between $15,000 and $5,000, it will not matter when Bitcoin's over 100K. So, take that as you will. But yeah, so that's kind of Bitcoin here on the weekly. Flattening out, we've been holding this level for a few weeks now. Let's go down to the daily and take a look at this falling wedge formation. The falling wedge is a bullish accumulation pattern that is most powerful when it comes from a really strong downtrend and a change of character. So we've had a really strong downtrend. Come on, pen tool. We've had a really strong downtrend. We've had a change of character right here, a change of behavior. We're no longer really, really dumping super hard, and we've started this tighter consolidation formation. And as a result, we've began to build the formation of a falling wedge. Now, it's still kind of a question mark. We need to hold this level here. If we're unable to hold this level, then the formation, changes and we don't have a falling wedge anymore. But as it stands right now, it's looking not too bad. And we have tested this level once, twice, and, potentially we come down and test it a third time, all while forming some bullish divergence here in the RSI. So we have a support level, we have bullish divergence in the RSI, we have declining volume, which is happening on a support range, which is showing you that there's less and less sellers willing to show up. There's a few bullish things to point to. Is anything actionable for the short-term traders? I mean, if you're, setting risk and not using an excessive amount of leverage, you do you. But me personally, I'm not approaching this as a trade. What I am doing is DCAing in. I've been DCAing for a while now, and I think that it's an appropriate level to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Like I said, I don't care anything below 15. I don't care even if we go down to 5, which I really don't think will happen. I want to make that very clear. I don't think that's at the far end of the probability. It's at the lower end of probability that we get that low, but I'm happy to DCA in, and I've been doing so on non-KYC fully custodial sources. Let's take a look. Oh, actually, before we do that, there is some areas that we need to overtake. So here inside of the consolidation, we did lose a support level. So we were holding this level of support. We're now below it. And yes, we have a bullish divergence happening at a support level here. But we do have some overhead resistance to clear. So if we can't get above this level at around 18,000, we'll call it 19,000. If we can't get above and stay on top of 19,000, the assumption, again, is just further consolidation and further downside levels. So still plenty of things to overcome in this market before we can really start to get excited. And that shouldn't come as a surprise. Nobody's really excited about crypto these days. So there you go. The technical breakdown of why we're still not excited. Taking a look at Ethereum here on the daily, holding support at a higher low. So actually, credit where credit is due. We're holding support at a higher low with a bullish divergence, very similar to what we're seeing in Bitcoin. So we got a low, a higher low, potentially a higher low, and we have a low and an equal low. So that's an exaggerated bullish divergence, and it's happening at a low that is higher than the seller's climax. So not bad for Ethereum. It could potentially move. Let's see what the momentum's doing in alphanumerics. Alphanumerics paints a little bit of a different picture. It's showing that we are bearish inside of the wave. It's got the bear market wave on it. We are below all EMAs. We are below the 7 EMA here on the daily, so certainly no momentum. We did get a green diamond on the daily, but I think on these time frames, because we're so deep into the bull market, we're so deep into the bear market, you can clearly ignore a lot of the dailies. You want a higher time frame confirmation like the 3-day. The 3-day was good, at least here on the BitGet chart. Somebody pointed out to me that the 3-day chart, 3-day diamond didn't appear on all charts. So, it did here on BitGet, but it didn't in many other places. It doesn't really matter, though. The green diamond, just so that you guys are aware, it's measuring it's measuring an extreme point. So it's not a trading signal. It's an investment signal. It's signaling to you when you have reached a market extreme, whether it is a green diamond showing you extreme sell-off or a red diamond showing you extreme buying. It's measuring market extremes. It's not necessarily a trading signal like the bull/bear cross. If you get a bullish cross, that's a trading signal. It's telling you that the momentum is there. All this is saying is it's a very high advantageous time to be purchasing. But it's not going to give you a stop loss, and it's not going to give you a guarantee or anything like that. It doesn't give you an exit strategy, I think, is the more appropriate way to talk about that. So if, hey, we got a higher low. We got a higher low. It's not bad, but I would want to see us break out past this resistance point right here. We'll just draw a simple line. Got to get above that. So whether we trade sideways through it or maybe we get above it, who knows? But there's, again, nothing super actionable right now in the market. Let's take a look at ETH BTC. just more sideways consolidation, very choppy, very ugly. If I'm being honest, it looks a lot like distribution, but it's a distribution that just keeps on trading sideways. So we're kind of, moving lockstep with Bitcoin as far as the Ethereum valuation is concerned. Now let's take a look at the dollar. Dollar is got a little bit of a double bottom here. So we have not yet tested the underside of the ice. If we do get a rally up to the underside of this support level, this support that was broken in Wyckoff, we call a broken distributional support, the ice. And yeah, I don't need to get too Wyckoff about it, but it's just a support level. If we come up and test the underside of that level up here, that's going to be a rally in the dollar. That's going to make it a harder time to be a bull if you are trading equities, and that'll trickle down into crypto as well. But yeah, the S&P coming up against a very strong resistance point, one that we have tested here, and may not even get to test here. We'll see. If the DXY begins to rally, then we'll probably start losing some support levels. And then maybe we come for a double bottom and give another attempt before a breakout. I do think, I know that the S&P will break out eventually because it's an index created out of strong assets, and when assets are no longer strong, they're replaced with stronger assets. So it will break eventually. But yeah, it's approaching a resistance point, so there's a lot less bulls willing to show up as they think most of the gains have already been made in the S&P. NASDAQ, really shitty structure. Not a clear picture, honestly. In the NASDAQ, we can kind of draw that similar trend line, but it's not respecting the trend line the same way. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's not as clear cut as what we're seeing in the S&P, and that could just be that there's a little bit more uncertainty when it comes to the tech sector. So you're just not getting a more predictable structure forming on the NASDAQ, but downtrend is still in play. We still have a very, we can always default to the most basic form of analysis, and that's that we just keep printing lower highs and lower lows. So that has not changed. So what I want to see in the dollar is I would like to see sideways. If we saw a little bit of sideways, things could catch up, but ideally in a perfect world, we take out the low at 105. So, maybe we do rally up here and then we get a rejection. That rejection will give it downside momentum. And if we have that downside momentum, then we can probably take out the low. If we take out this low, I think the dollar is going to start to increase in velocity, and it's really going to start to speed up a little bit in its decline. And we might end up at 100. And if it gets below that, we could start to really see a much more favorable trading environment for the bulls if we're able to take out that low. But, watch out for this support level because we do have a double bottom on this support. So as long as we're holding this support level, the assumption is we can continue to trade sideways. All right. What else can we take a look at? Litecoin's been getting a lot of attention. Litecoin, it's got a kind of a bullish consolidation here. The narrative going along with Litecoin right now is the halving is coming up next year. Whoop-de-fucking-do. The halving on a useless coin is coming. But hey, retail loves their cheap shit coins. They feel they can't afford Bitcoin, even though you can buy any amount you want. That's not how retail thinks. So they would rather buy Bitcoin's test network. It's bullshit test network that the founder has abandoned. That's a much better investment where the developers are no longer developing and everything is fucking useless and dead. Yeah, let's go with that. But anyways, you do see this consolidation. We do have a sign of strength right here. Sign of strength coming in on our backup. So if we can continue to hold this level and take out that high, then that could be a trade entry. That could be a absolutely, that could be a decent trade entry in a market that's really not giving much at all. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if that's something that continues to persist. Let's take a look at what the momentum is showing us here on Alpha Numerics. Let's go with a higher time frame here on the 3-day. 3-day, we did get a bullish cross. So momentum certainly is present. We have the 30-day or we have the 30 coming up against the 50. So that would put the alpha numerics momentum indicator into bullish alignment. So if we're in bullish alignment, that could be really good. Volume is declining overall. So, this could just be a hype pump. This could be a narrative-driven pump. We'll see how that pans out. I'm not eager to jump into much. If I'm being fully honest, I really don't see myself deploying much capital for the rest of the year and probably into Q1 of next year. So I'm still looking at around 4 to 5 months before I'm really wanting to revisit this market in a way where I'd be looking to deploy capital. But yeah. Bizney and Dragon, they say Litecoin is pumping because the FTX hacker is using it to cash out because Litecoin privacy. It sounds like a narrative to me. Don't trust verify. I'm not keeping on top of what the FTX hacker is doing. The FTX hacker is probably Sam Bankman-Fried. It's an inside job. You don't have a hacker. You have somebody that moved funds because they had access to the private key. So it's an inside job. It was probably Sam. They're trying to wash the money, but who fucking knows? Don't trust Twitter. Don't trust what you heard. Don't trust what anybody says. People love to build stories, especially in times of a lot of FUD. When there's a lot of FUD in the market, it's very easy for somebody to become famous for being a liar. So I could write a Twitter thread that is very compelling, but completely made on bullshit, and it will go viral because people are really fucking scared. And a lot of people are doing that. I've been just not even paying attention to Twitter because people are just lying. They're lying so much. They're putting all this effort into telling this really complex and convincing lie so that their accounts go viral. Because it doesn't matter if you lie. It doesn't matter if you lie. If your account goes viral, hey, you've got the followers. Some will unfollow, some will call you out for being a liar, but you just turn around and say, oh, I was misinformed, but you still have the followers. It's a disgusting practice. People really become predatory in times of panic, and these social media influencers are no different. If you want to find the hacker, go find the hacker's wallet and go explore the block explorer yourself. Don't trust, verify. They track the funds traded from ETH to the Litecoin network, 200 mil worth, but who knows? Yeah. It's like who are they? Like, fuck that. Go check yourself. That's what the blockchain is good at, is allowing you to go and see for yourself. All right, let's take a look at the shitcoin bingo list. Cardano still below the 7 on the weekly. When something is below the 7 on the weekly, it's going to stay below the 7 on the weekly. So more downside on Cardano. My ultimate price for Cardano, as far as something that would get me excited, is below 20 cents. So from here, that's still another like 50% correction. Yeah, I think we got another 40 to 50, maybe even more percent down in Cardano before I want to be a buyer. Sub 20 cents would be ideal. Sub 10 cents would be even better. Ape, the fucking coin of the metaverse. What a fucking meme. Absolutely not. Just been trashed. Just had a really weak move here. As it should. Ape is useless. No volume. Who gives a fuck? Below the 7, stay below the 7. CRO, below the 7, stay below the 7. Everything's getting fucking trashed out there. Man, altcoins are not holding up nearly as well as Bitcoin is. If you guys aren't noticing that, then, this is why alts have 99% retracements, 95% retracements, 98% retracements, and Bitcoin is still at about a 75% retracement. Doge, holding up nice. I've got little problem with this. This is a sign of strength, and if we can hold this level above 7, we'll call it 7.5 cents. If you can hold that level above 7.5 cents, it's not terrible. Not a terrible structure at all. Let's go to the daily. And I hate Doge, so this is not a user bias here. This is, we traded sideways, we broke out on a sign of strength, and we're holding the area of the breakout as a new support level. Going to monitor this. I think we could trade sideways for a while here before there's anything substantial. I don't like Doge, but you know what? It doesn't matter what I like. The market's going to do what the market's going to do, and you are always wrong in the market. The market is always right. If you don't listen to the market, you're always going to be wrong. No, the market doesn't care what your opinion is. The market doesn't care what the fundamentals are. You just have to be honest with yourself and observe what's happening in the market. And what I'm observing is people still fucking love Doge. So you gotta give credit where credit is due. If we can hold this support level and then trade above it, let's say we get a consolidation. Let's say we get a consolidation that, you know, forms like that, and then we trend out of it, breaking above. Hey, you know, it's game time. That's a trade. So we have a few potential trade setups out there. Litecoin looking like it could go. Doge looking like it could go, but nothing is going and nothing is flashing signals. Let's see what the alphanumerics indicator is saying here on the daily. Losing momentum on the daily. We did get a trim signal here at around 10 cents. And we just got a bearish cross on the daily. So momentum is certainly slowing down. Let's go to the 3-day. Could avoid a 3-day cross, but Doge needs to pull it back around. So going back to the weekly, we are looking decent, you know. Still a lot of work to do to get this asset in bullish alignment. It is still in bearish alignment. Bearish alignment, for those who don't know, is when the small or fast moving average is below all of the high moving averages. So we have the 50 on top of the 30 on top of the 7. That's bearish. Bullish alignment is when we have the 7 on top of the 30 on top of the 50. Shiba Inu, I don't know. You guys still buying that fucking scam? I don't know. Shiba Inu's shit. Never coming back. Never coming back. Solana, huge drop. I want to see Solana down at $3. $3, $4, maybe psychological 5. We'll give it a psychological 5. But, you know, at the end of the day, too, like, Solana might end up being like EOS. You know, a lot of big talk, a lot of big funding, but nothing ever really ends up going anywhere. It's very hard for Solana to be decentralized. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult for Solana to be decentralized because of how it's designed. So for those who don't know, one of the biggest factors to a project being decentralized is how many nodes you have on the network. A node is somebody's computer that runs the software that runs the blockchain. And, you know, for Bitcoin, I'll use Bitcoin as a contrasting example. Bitcoin, you need about $300, $400, $500 worth of hardware, or you could just run it in the background on your laptop if you don't care about your laptop fucking working. But if you want your devices to work, you could buy a Raspberry Pi, very small, lightweight computer. You can plug it into your router, and you can run the Bitcoin software in the background on this little computer, and it's very small, and it's cheap, and it's effective, and it works. With Solana, you basically need a hardcore gaming computer. You need a really hardcore gaming computer to run a Solana node. So it's the difference, like for me, like I travel all over the world, and I have this little tiny computer that runs my Bitcoin node because it's easy. You can pack it. It's portable. I don't need to worry about this little piece of hardware getting in my way. It's the size of a fucking digital camera. It's small. But if I was wanting to do the exact same thing and I was a Solana guy and I want to travel the world with my Solana node, well, now I have a big fucking gaming PC. I can't. Okay. Now, I realize that most people that run nodes don't travel the world, but I'm just trying to put it into context that it's a very impractical setup. That's very restrictive. It requires expensive hardware, so you're only going to have nodes running in places where people have money. You're not going to have these nodes running in poorer countries, whereas you still could run nodes in poor countries with Bitcoin. So just letting you know that the design of Solana, why it is so fast, why it works, is because the nodes are so powerful. But because the nodes are so powerful, there's very few of them, and there's very few people who are willing to run them. Anyways, that's my fundamentals of Solana. We'll see what happens. Long story short, it still can come back. It's just going to be run by companies, because the companies can afford to run the nodes. So, if you want a whole blockchain owned by fucking Silicon Valley and all the tech giants and all the companies, then yeah, it's a centralized bullshit chain and it'll work. But it's not decentralized. Theta, nothing. Below the 7, stay below the 7. VeChain, man, VeChain, below the 7, staying below the 7. XRP, below the 7, staying below the 7. We were looking like we wanted to get a little bit of a recovery, but the wave just turned red. We are below the 7, staying below the 7. GMX, I'm still waiting for this one to come down. Like the project, hate where it's at, hate the price. I want to see it below 20 bucks. Personal opinion, that's just where I want to see it. Looks rare, looking shit. Looks rare is a looking shit. Zilliqa, also looking shit. So that's shitcoin bingo, everybody. I think we're gonna close it out there. That's all, folks. Thank you all. So before we head out, let's just recap what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. We're in this bullish formation. I want to see if we get a dip down. Get a dip down to about 15,000 and then get a move above this consolidation, kind of jump the creek. We're going to encounter some resistance here, but if we can get through that, we might actually have a little bit of a rally, although I'm not holding my breath because other factors are at play, such as the DXY finding support here, about to go on a rally. The S&P is ready to pivot and head to the downside. The NASDAQ is also wanting to pivot and retest support. So we're going to have to see how things pan out there. Ethereum also looking like it could make a move, but I'm not expecting anything too big. That is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if there are any projects that you would like me to take a deeper dive on, leave them in the comments section down below. And until next time, please trade safe.